Technology Show. I'm Brian Fernandez.
And I'm Jeffrey Halley. And today we have Marcelo Tarkieltaub, Regional Director for Southeast Asia of Rockwell Automation. Rockwell Automation is a New York Stock Exchange listed company that is a global leader in industrial automation and digital transformation. And to tell us more about that, please welcome Marcelo to the show. Welcome, Marcelo.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Right, so let's just start with an overview of Rockwell Automation itself. Could you give our viewers a broad overview of the company itself? And I have done some research and it does look very complex from the outside. And also your role in Southeast Asia.
No, thanks, Jeffrey. Now, Rockwell Automation is a global leader in industrial manufacturing and industrial IoT. I think in a simplistic way, what I like to say, we're a company that our goal is to help our customers in the manufacturing space to be more efficient, period. That's what we do for a living, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything else about the complexity you mentioned, Jeffrey, about the technology, the services, it's really about to have the different fits of the puzzle to help to simplify from the customer perspective. So having a broad portfolio of product and services allow us to really be a consultant to our customers and help them to go through their journey, which it could be in different places there. About my role, I'm responsible for the ASEAN region for Rockwell Automation, based out of here in Singapore, and we have a very large team in the region with over 1,000 employees to support the manufacturing needs of the region.
Now, give us an understanding then, Marcelo, on your product and solution suites and how you help your customers, particularly in their journey towards digital transformation.
Perfect. It's a great question, Brian. I think the way we try to help our customers, it's not about offering a piece of product or a piece of software and some services around it. It's really about understanding where the customer is in their journey. Right. Some customers today, I like to joke, they are still in the last industrial revolution, right? They're still making themselves automated, which again is not a problem on its own. It depends on your business. You might be in the right place for you, right? But we cannot just go and provide a piece of technologies just for the sake of the technology. So we understand where the customer is and where they want to go, and then we support them through their journey. And then we find the right piece of technologies. We could be automation products to help them to be more efficient. We can help them, sometimes software and AI and cloud solutions to help them to drive efficiency, better operation scalability, better sustainability goals with something which is being growing very strong in the region. Every single company looking how we can be decarbonized, and that's part of efficiency and automation supporting them. So different pieces of our technology stack with the expertise we bring of over 100 years in this business. We are in manufacturing only for over 100 years as a company. So that brings to us a lot of knowledge and people who understand how to take the customers through that journey in this process.
Okay, but you have such a plethora of products and services. Help us understand in Southeast Asia some keys, how you help customers by giving us a couple of examples. I'm sure you've had great cases that you could share with us of how you've really helped your clients transform their businesses.
No, it's a very good one. Let me give a few examples that I could go through and might help the viewers to understand a bit more ideas of where we can help. So a few examples we had, we're working with a very large mining company in the region where they had a very big environmental situation where they need to report every single part of their emissions and carbon consumption, right? And how we can collect all that data in a timely fashion way with an appropriate manner. So we support them providing cloud services and real-time data management so they can connect all the different silos they had in their operation and be able to report that to the regulatory agencies. Now, the beauty of that is that when you start to monitor, you can start improving, right? So the first part of that was, hey, I have a problem. Government is asking me to do so. So it's not something I want to do, But they realized when they implemented those technologies, now I know what I'm spending, where is my energy going, and they started to optimize. And knowing allowed them to reduce their costs double digits in a fairly short period of time, of a few months. So it was extremely fast ROI that we saw that. Other examples, if you go to different segments in the market, we're helping a lot of our customers in the food industry, as an example, to really understand how to make their operations more efficient. It's really about breaking up the silos and different data repositories that are all over a very large organization sometimes, and bringing them together, create a context, and now the business leaders can make real-time decisions. A lot of times they're going to a very nice Power BI report with 3 weeks old information, which is amazing. It's a great technology. But if you're taking decisions with old data, you're not taking maybe the best decisions. So we're allowing them to make real-time decisions, making them extremely more efficient. Is a very, very common success story we're seeing around the region.
And also, I want to just jump into what you just said just now. By actually being forced to be compliant by the government, what you've actually helped them by you explaining that just now is really help them to achieve their ESG and sustainability goals, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that story I just mentioned was, it was a mandatory situation. That's how we kick it off. So it was not an inside-out situation. But the customer quickly saw a good opportunity, first of all, to reach out the ESG goals they had. But secondly, it's about efficiency. We are all here about reducing our costs and being more efficient in manufacturing space. And honestly, ESG is good for the world, which is great. We all want that. I want my kids and my grandkids to have a planet to live. But if you look from manufacturing our stakeholder perspective, when you do those investments, almost 100% of the time, there is a gigantic reduction in your cost. You become more competitive, not only from what our customers are expecting from us, but actually you become a more efficient company as you go through that process and journey.
And I also, Marcelo, I think in this case, particularly in Asia, where there's less pressure from consumers to be ESG compliant, the ROI on ESG investments has to make sense, as you said, to the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But we have to be careful about, I'll say careful is the right choice of words, but the pressure will be growing, because if you look in the future, right, in maybe 10 to 20 years, Asia and in Southeast Asia, inside of that context, will be on the largest manufacturing hubs globally. A lot of manufacturing from indigenous to our region, but also from outside is moving here. And if you're producing something in Thailand or in Vietnam or in Indonesia or here in Singapore, as an example, your product might be going to Europe. So you have to be prepared for those demands, right? But to your point as well, it's about what is good, what the customers are asking, but it's really about decarbonizing, being more efficient, makes you more competitive. A lot of companies won't survive that fierce competition that you'll be facing in the future, because companies will be coming here and everybody will try to take a bite of the market.
Right. It's not just software solutions that you're offering, though, is it, at Rockwell Automation? You're also providing hardware solutions as well to your clients.
That's correct, Jeffrey. Well, we started as a company, again, I talk about 100 years. Traditionally was an equipment-based company. We provide controllers that allow the companies, to have their processes and machines running more autonomously, more efficiently way, more repetitive way. Over time, and especially in the last 5 to 10 years, software is becoming a bigger portion of how we create that value to the customer, because it became, with data available, how you make that data relevant to customers. Because data is as good as the information you can create with that. A lot of companies have tons of data. A few companies has actually true information that allow everyone in different levels of the organization to make different business decisions that allow them to be more efficient. So software created a role, importantly, in that how can we take that piece of data, make it contextualize in a way that the customer now can make a decision to improve the quality of the product, reduce the cost, bidding and competitive, right? I told the story of one of our customers telling us, hey, I need to take an order, it was big. Can I deliver on time? And how can we make that decision in minutes and not in 5 different conference calls during 5 weeks and you lost the order because when you got the answer, someone else already took the order, right? So that efficient about real-time decision making is becoming more and more critical in the connected world we are.
So if we zoom out a bit, we've been reading in the news over the last couple of years about this rotation from China manufacturing to other parts of particularly Southeast Asia, and Vietnam gets mentioned quite often in that context, perhaps less so Indonesia, but certainly it's there or thereabouts. Malaysia has always had its electronics and engineering cluster up in Penang. If we zoom out a bit, what are the biggest challenges you're seeing in manufacturing in general?
I think if I want to simplify to you, right, it's really about people. That's for me, if you ask me what do you see when I talk to CEOs around the region, management, it's about the people, right? The technology, honestly, it's very simple these days. Now, we'll try to make sure that it's as simple as it can be, but it's about you have to change how you run your business. Running a connected business is different than running a disconnected company. And you have to change from yourself as a CEO eventually to everyone, if the person that is running a machine, the way you operate. So the people aspect is critical. And if you go to that point that, in our region, it gets exponentially harder because you take example Vietnam with a lot of investments and a lot of company coming, the demand for the same amount of talent it's growing, right? So you need more talent, you need different talent. You need to change your perspective. So being able to get the right people in the right seat of the bus is extremely critical, and having the willingness of the management to change themselves. That's a key point. It starts from everyone in the company. Running a connected enterprise, as we like to say in Rock Automation, that's our vision for the Industry 4.0. It is different than running the business as we were running it 2 weeks ago. You have to change how you do things. And the people aspect from all different levels of the organization, it's probably for me the number one challenge companies faces today.
And now, as far as outcomes go, as far as manufacturing outcomes go, is it all efficiency? Is that the end game for all manufacturing, or is it oversimplifying it?
I think efficiency, I think it tends to be the first one we talk about, because efficiency, Brian's comments before, it goes to the bottom line, right? It's right away. It's the first one that comes to our mind. But if you think about, it's about resiliency. We learned COVID was in your face moment to all of us, right? About resiliency, right? And how can you change the way you do things fast, right? And supply chain challenges we had for the last few years, gigantic challenge, how you run that operation, right? In a different way. I think the sustainability aspect in some markets becoming a big story too, So sometimes it's a must to. We just talk about, although it impacts the bottom line as well, right? But there is a force there. One that I think it's increasingly, honestly, if you look around 9 every 10 meetings I have, it might be 10 out of 10. Cybersecurity is becoming an increasingly big story. In manufacturing as well. If you go around customers, how you protect your IP, right? And how you make sure your manufacturing is protected as well. And I think a lot of companies, maybe 100% of the companies, I may say, have a strategy of cybersecurity for your IT space. Guess what? Most of them, maybe the other way around, never look to their operation space. And that's the weakness on their leak. So manufacturing and look at cybersecurity in your OT space is a big thing, especially with assets more connected. You want them to be more connected, to be more competitive, right? So that becoming a big story. And you probably hear all in the news, food companies that were shut down for weeks because of that, oil and gas pipelines with cyber attacks, and all those didn't happen from your email server. They happen from the OT space.
Now, interesting, Marcelo. Cybersecurity, key trend that you identified. two other things that we want to ask you about really also. One is, of course, virtual reality and how that's becoming more and more part of the connected manufacturing and smart manufacturing. The other
Mhm.
thing, of course, that everyone talks about is AI.
Sure.
And you knew that
Now,
question was coming, didn't you?
I was waiting for it. I didn't want to steal your thunder,
We
right?
have to talk about
Yeah, we
AI.
have to talk about it, right?
Now, let me start with AI. And AI, just because I think it's a very exciting topic. And AI it's part of that equation of the simplification, because you're moving from automation to be autonomous, right? And AI plays a key role in that. So we're adding more and more in our hardware and software AI capabilities. So that's a gigantic trend, and that helps the customers to have better insights of what's happening in the plant floor for them. So a very key example, we have tools in our products today that helps a maintenance person in a plant floor to know, is that a piece of equipment is going to fail or not, and when, and allow you to take smart decisions before that happens, so you don't stop your production. That's something that could be avoidable. So very simple, you implement an AI to a very specific use case. You're making your plant more efficient, help you to understand, where you should buy parts to help the operation to be better, where you have difference in capabilities of training your people. You have why the morning shift produces better than the afternoon shift. What could be the root causes? Give you some insights. Now, you need to have the talent part, knowing how to read that information, right? But also a lot of the products we're having are starting to take decision on itself. So they learn the process, so that when the AI become with the machine learning capability, where they learn what's going on, they learn how it works, your operation, and they make real-time decisions that allow your production to have a better quality of a product, right? To avoid accidents and avoid failures, right? So AI combined with machine learning, I think is a key trend in technology, but it's not futuristic for the manufacturing space. It is there, and it's going to be growing tremendously. If you look of virtual reality or more augmented reality, I think there's two spaces we look there. One is on augmented reality. It's really been powerful. Well, during COVID was like a huge boost, right? And just because we can fix things without being there, and there was a very huge use cases. And that even now after COVID, we're talking about traveling and back to normal. Well, some companies don't want people to traveling around. You have a problem. You bought a machine from China, as an example, or from Germany, US. You don't want to fly someone for 15 hours to get here, turn a screw, and fix the problem after 30 minutes because you're bringing that expertise. So because talent is so difficult, use augmented reality to really help you to fix problems because the person is there without being there.
Yes.
Now, that helps you, even companies, we're talking about machines, but you go companies that have plants all over the place. And maybe I'm in Vietnam and I have a plant in Hanoi and a few plants are in the center, a few in the south. And I have one expert on the application. I don't have to have 10 if I have 10 plants. And that person with a lot of efficiency in time, and that efficiency goes again, can help to fix problems. Training, that's a very strong one, growing extremely fast. We have a generation situation, even in our region. A lot of knowledge is retiring.
Demographics.
And how can you keep that knowledge using simple tools? So that person goes away in a good way, go enjoy his or her life, but you keep that knowledge using more augmented reality, right? As an example. And the last one, which is probably another one even faster than augmented reality, we see is digital twins, right? Which becomes is between the virtual and the augmented space, which really allowing companies to simulate and understand what if I change this, what happens to my manufacturing? How can I be more efficient? How can I have a plant that is different? If I change my product, how are we going to impact my employees? If I need to put additional machine, how the flow of goods in my plant will be impacted of that. And those seems like little things. In the past used to be you have to do it and then you start fixing and you spend more money and the productivity you're expecting for your asset went down. And now, with simple planning, in a few days, you can run your plan virtually, understand what's going on, and make the changes and make sure you have the most efficient use of your capital investment.
Fascinating. Marcelo, have you got any final thoughts for us for 2024?
If I look around, if I can look for maybe three thoughts that I can look and that I want to share with everyone, for both of you and everyone listening to us, is most companies today are still struggling how to start. I think if you ask any management executive, I want to go through this, it seems obvious that that's the journey I need to go through. But if you ask the second question, what you're doing, it tends to get graspy, it tends to get lost very quick, and what the outcomes are bringing. And we see a lot of companies we've made enormous investments and not getting the value. So it's not about the technology, it's about the outcome. So look around, and that's where I think Rockwell Automation and our expertise can help people, is understanding your journey and how can you go through, and don't be scared about using the newer technology. The automation space and the manufacturing space tends to be more conservative a lot of times. And sometimes we talk about, let's use cloud on manufacturing. That's a huge growth. It allows you to go faster with lower capital investment. But a lot of times we see pushback from customers. So this technology is there, is proven. I think all of us use, right? If you look around, probably none of us will live without cloud. Probably without that, we won't be having this interview live together, right? And we are doing that perfectly, right? So I think that's the key point, be embracing the new technologies, because that will allow you to have a differentiative position in the market. And the ones who embrace faster and the right way, looking for the specific outcomes, will be leading the pack 5 to 10 years from now. And the ones who lag behind will be left behind. And it's about a survival thing. It's like automation was in the 60s and 70s, right? The ones who did automation and that first change in technology, the ones who did faster became market leaders and not market followers. So embracing the technology, find the right partner to support you on the journey, and it's not complicated. If it looks complicated, you're probably not going the right way. The technology is simple, the use cases are there, understanding the problems we want to solve, we can fairly quick bring the right technology, the right size, the right cost to different companies in different levels.
Marcelo, thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
No, it was my pleasure to have this very nice conversation with both of you. Thank you.
Now, I'm Brian Fernandez, and alongside my co-host, Jeffrey Halley, you've been watching and listening to Biztech's Technology Show. This interview will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.